Yes. Ah, absolutely phenomenal. The talent that we bring here to Unity of Dallas. Thank you so much. Does everyone feel? Yes, another one. That love and support from the community is what takes us through so many moments in life. And now, if we could gather together in support, we'll start with a little centering around that love and nurturing now. Bob, would you be so kind as to lullaby us a bit? I invite you to uncross your hands and your legs, to place your feet firmly upon the floor, and to just trust in the support of the chair beneath you, knowing that all is taken care of and everything is in divine order in this now moment. Finding yourself here at the right place, at the right time, settling gently into that seat. You may become aware of the gentle flow of air upon your nostrils. Tingling sensation around the lips and tongue as your awareness begins to draw deeper and deeper within. This awareness rides gently down the center line to the tailbone, where you feel the support and strength of the chair beneath you. This rising of awareness through the center line awakens and opens all the channels to be enlivened and quickened by Spirit. Up through the navel, breathing into that belly, you feel the solar plexus open, that center of power within. Rising as the heart begins to bloom open, making way for the throat to relax. Maybe a gentle tingle in the center of the forehead as the third eye is enlivened. And from the top of the crown, a wondrous stir of light. All the center of the body, open and ready to receive the truth from within. From this awareness, we move forward in life. With this clarity of spirit, we move into this new year. With this one presence and one power, active as our life, we arise anew. To the true nature within. The deep and filling breath invites you to gently blink the eyes open, wiggle the fingertips, return here to this space and time. As I mentioned, returning with the true nature. Each one of us were birthed as this and with this, and we awoke this morning with this true nature. Is exactly who we are. I've spent a lot of days of my life wondering what the heck that was, though. Am I this attitude? Am I this image? Am I this athlete? Am I this intellectual? Am I? And I have struggled quite fiercely at times, and I've taken myself through lots of trainings and lots of classes and lots of book studies and lots of messes in life included, in order to try to figure that very thing out. And I believe probably 100% of you are here for that very same reason. We're all truth students. And we're all exploring our lives and our universe, our friends, our community, these various studies around the world, and all kinds of religions that you probably have all come from or still practice. And it comes down to most often to this very message. What is my true nature? Who am I really? Or more importantly, maybe, as Imelda Shanklin reminded us, what am I really? And that's the idea that I'd like to share and explore with you today. During one of my trainings in yoga to become an instructor, I explored not only the teachings of the body and how flexible I might be able to be and what kind of channels energetically that those different postures might open up, but also some of the ancient stories that led to that wisdom that the body reflects. And one of those, this image reminded me of, because hidden in there, if you can see, there's a DNA strand. And there's an image in the middle of that alignment that most of you probably just experienced when you settled in and you brought the awareness through that center channel of the body. Well, this ancient story, I don't know, over 10,000 years old at least, tells of a time when it was known that all humans were gods. That's very shocking to some people because we're just these lowly little creatures sometimes. Now in Unity, luckily, especially most of you have been around Unity a while, and you've been reminded constantly that you are the presence of the divine. And I think often we're in that study and that struggle of, well, what's that mean? Because I know that I was just like pissed off about traffic a minute ago. How's that a God? How's that my God experience? Or I was not able to control the weather because, I wanted it to be sunny this morning. And am I really God? What does all this mean, right? Well, maybe this old story tells the tale of that. Who knows? Well, what it said was that Brahma, who for me is an equivalent to what Unity calls God. In the Hindu system, they call Brahma is the all, the creator of which everything sprang forth from. And so Brahma saw that men and women had taken advantage of this power. I know many of you couldn't imagine somebody being in a position of power and maybe abusing that or taking advantage of that. I know, that wouldn't happen. But Brahma saw this in all his wisdom and said, you know what? Kind of like my mama told me. I gave you life and I could take it away. Don't forget. And that's what Brahma did. Brahma said, you know what? They're abusing their power. We're taking that back. And so he called a council of all the high gods together and said, okay, here's what's going down. We're taking the power back from men, and where are we going to hide it? Because we know energy cannot be destroyed. This power has already been created, so we can't just and get rid of it. It's got to be hidden somewhere, right? So one god said, let's take it down to the depths of the ocean. And Brahma's like, nah, there'll come a day. Men will figure out how to comb the bottom of the ocean as they explore. Do we see that today? Yes, we do. Another one said, let's put it on the highest mountain peak. Let's put it out in the farthest reaches of the universe. Let's hide it because they'll never find it there. But Brahma said, no, they'll look there. They'll end up finding a way to get to the top of that mountain. They'll end up finding a way to get to the bottom of that ocean and to the core of the earth. They'll find a way because they're men and women. They're sneaky little creatures, They'll find a way to make it happen. He said, I got it. They'll search the world over for their power. They'll continue to look outside themselves forever. So let's hide it inside. They'll never think to look within. Yeah. And so that's exactly what they did. Now, when I was introduced to Unity, one thing that struck me really powerful about our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, was that he was said to often spend up to 8 hours a day in meditation, going to a place he called headquarters. And one of the things he discovered there was this power of imagination. He said that's the faculty of the mind that images and forms, the power to shape and form thought. The imaging faculty presides at the nerve center between the eyes, and through this faculty, the formless takes form. This is that thing that brought forth everything that we see around us, down to this clicker. There was somebody once that said, you know what, I can't just stand up here and push a button because I got to get away from the lectern. And I can't get my timing down with people in the booth. There's got to be a way for me to do it from here. And probably centered into meditation, however that looked, whether it be drawing or whatever way that person did it. And this image came to mind of this little handheld thing that would somehow communicate invisibly to this device. Same with Alexander Graham Bell. He dedicated himself saying, you know what, by the end of this decade, I'm going to create a way to illuminate the world and to replace the use of coal in that way, to light our homes. He had no idea how he was going to do that or how that was going to unfold, but he began to imagine something that wasn't here, that wasn't quite yet present, but that was pressing on his consciousness, pressing up through his mind to do it. I absolutely know that 100% of you have that something that's been pressing, that thing that was causing you a little disturbance over 2017, or that was just longing, that thing you were wanting to experience, or whatever it might be. It's starting to bubble up, just thinking about it. And it's right there in the imagination. This is the Word. And the Word in our mind is formed with images, right? Like if you closed your eyes and I said, car, you probably wouldn't see C-A-R. You would probably either see your dream car or whatever it is that you're driving now, or the car you grew up riding in, something like that, but you would see a picture of a car. That's that power of imagination, because that's the actual Word. The Word is that movement and that image, our faculty to shape that into form. And in John 1:1, Jesus is reported to have said that in the beginning was the Word, and that the Word was with God, and that the Word was God. I.e., there's no separation. There's no separation from that image car or that little niggle that's been pushing you to do something new this year. No separation. That is God. That is God yearning to come forth in the world, to be here present as you, as your life, as your connection with one another, as your community here at Unity, whatever it might be, like that is God's desire pouring forth as you. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. One of our congregants recently introduced me to this writer, Neville, and he wrote this book, Awakened Imagination, in about 1954. In this book, he compares the idea that we're all Mary, in essence. We're all that kind of naive, young, unimaginative, physical, limited creature in a certain idea. And yet, there's this Christ awaiting to be born from within, which is our imagination. The Christ is that hope of glory, that hope that whatever I think I can't overcome, whatever I think I maybe am limited in, that Christ is ready to be reborn anew, born now to overcome that through the faculty of imagination. And like Charles reminded us, that's an innate ability. That's something we're born with. A power that is waiting inside always to spring forth. This is an absolutely stunning reminder. And it hit me again. I mean, it's done it often. But when I was coming up to the end of the year, I thought, even last week, listening to Beverly, she guided us. For those of you who are here, you've already done your release. And if not, hopefully you've grabbed the YouTube and you've joined the community in, or you've done it on your own in some way. But last week was a time of release. We did our burning bowl ceremony, where we kind of drew up some things that maybe didn't serve, some things that were blocking us, and we put that on the fire and we let that go. Well, that was part of what I did at New Year's Eve, because I thought, this year of expansion, yeah, I heard some giggles ripple through there. It was enough. There was some moments during last year that I felt like I expanded in very great glory. My career, my move here to Dallas, like in all kinds of ways, it became greater, brighter, better than I had thought that I had imagined. And in other ways, I was like, I'm done with that 2017. Like, I'm good. I'm ready to move on. Anybody yes? Woo! You're done. Everybody, yeah. See, I see the little secret nudging each other around here, like, yeah, I'm done with that thing too. Because we've all got that, and that's agreed. There's going to be those things this year, thank God, because those are those discontents that we're up against and that are encouraging us to bring forth something better and brighter. So those are good too. It's all good. And so when I closed out the year, I had these big plans. You'll see me over here on the left at the board. This is my enormous whiteboard, my command center over there at the Red House. And I had plans of doing AV, actually, for an event right here. And through my holiday season, I didn't comb through all my emails, and so I missed one line in there that said that event was canceled. So I found myself like, okay, what am I going to do with my night? This is New Year's Eve. I'm really going to sit at home alone? Well, that means what? If you're at home alone, you don't have your New Year's Eve kiss. You're not going to be blessed. You're this and you're that, and no, you got no friends, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, the stories start rolling, right? So I hop on Facebook like any intelligent human being. And I said, what's Aunt Stadovsky doing? Is she having a party over there at her house? What's going on? And I start searching and hunting, and the whole time I hear this little voice in the back, this little angel on my shoulder saying, oh, did you did you accomplish everything you wanted for 2017? And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but I got to have friends. I got to have fun. I'm still young. I'm not some old fuddy-duddy, washed up, whatever, over here with nobody to play with. Like, there's somebody that want to hang out with me on New Year's Eve. I know there's something going on. Even if it's a meditation, I can go sit quiet with people and then not talk and just kind of do my thing, right? And I was like, I just kept hearing it, like, you're missing it, boy. You're missing it. Pay attention. Pay attention. I said, okay, let me shut the computer down. And I went and sat in meditation. I said, Sweet Spirit, let it be clear to me what it is you're saying, because I'm hearing a whole lot. I'm all in my head now, so let me do some of that heart math. Let me get some coherence going on, and let me feel what it is I'm really being guided to do so I can move forward with confidence. And it was so clear, so very clear. Finish what wasn't finished. As my mentor reminds me often, do what you can with what you have, with where you're at. It's really kind of that simple. So I knew there was a few emails, there was a letter I hadn't written, there was a few loose ends that I would be much more comfortable having buttoned up, come to a completion. And so I did that. And then I went back to Facebook. Ooh, now I can go play. I did it, Spirit. No. You're called to do something. And so I went to the board. And I said, well, I know I'm called to finish my LUT. I've seen the LUTs that we have in this community have been such a shining, strong example for me. Like, a lot of you don't even know. The little dips I've had in your classes and in your meditations and at retreats, like they have nurtured me and helped me grow so much. I'm like, I know I have to step more and more into that. Little by little. I know there's a lot of work to do, but I got to put that down. And so I started with that end result. The end results I knew I wanted to see in a few areas of my life that were really key. And I started backtracking to New Year's Day, January 1st. What could I do? How could I get from point A to point B? And so that's what I did. Now, as many of you know, at the same time, James was dreaming of a white Christmas, and so our consciousness collide. Part of that thing where I'm writing right there was the big nudge was to speak somewhere at some venue often, minimum once a month, somewhere. If it was another spiritual community, if it was out in the park, if it was here at Uni of Dallas, wherever it might be, I needed to have my voice heard. I had a message to share, and I've kind of been hiding from that in the past. So I stepped up. I'm now the president of our Toastmasters Club. We're meeting every Thursday. Come see us. Finishing that and moving forward as a leader in that way, but I knew, like, I have to speak. It's going to do something for me. I'm going to become something that I'm to be. And so I dedicated myself. And I mean, the mind went back and forth. Oh, well, how are you going to do that in January? Nobody's hiring new speakers and nobody's planning events in January. I'm on the events team with Kim. Like, what you mean you want to speak next week? Are you kidding me? We're planning for the summer. Like, these kinds of things are going on in the world if it's on the level of business that we want to operate at. So how could I just spring up? Spirit tells me we're going to do this. How am I going to do that in 7 days, right? Well, mysterious ways, right? So what do you all say we check in with James and see why it is that I'm up here and how all that came to be? You all up for that? Yeah. Let's get him in here. James Buchanan, to the stage. It's almost the anniversary of Cowboy Sunday where we shared up here, so. Hark what yonder angels call. There he is. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Okay. It's so good to see every one of you out there today. Actually, I can't see you at all. I got to see, so I'm using the power of imagination. I did get to see Robert, though. He's looking beautiful today. Welcome to New England and my production suite, otherwise known as the living room here. And you may notice running around, possibly back there, is Milky Kitty, who is 20 years old and still wants to be famous. But we've become best friends, absolutely. So please send me a snowmobile. Speaking of the imagination, using the power of imagination, just imagine that just a few feet away this morning, 10 degrees below zero.
Woo.
They even had to close the largest ski resort here in New England because it was 50 degrees below zero. And yes, and so we had 19 inches here, but the snow drifts brought it up to around here somewhere. So, and then of course, Randy Sitzman and others actually reminded me that I did say and proclaim this to be the year of expansion. And as Eric said, I did want a white Christmas. And I landed here in a snow globe. And I think that because it's been a record amount of days in a row that's cold here, all the way back since 1918, tying or breaking that record, that it's quite possible that I need to leave pretty fast. Because the in-laws, which I came here to meet the future in-laws, but I think they might discover that I'm probably causing this record cold. But anyway, lo and behold, would you believe, and I'm sure you probably would, that I have my white stone here of expansion, and you can kind of tell it looks like snow with a little bit of specks of glitter here on the stone. So we want to have fun with this white stone ceremony today, for sure. But I invite you to take it very seriously. It's a very powerful ceremony, the power of manifestation, and I am so. Honestly, I have to say that I was pretty disappointed that I was not going to make it to lead the ceremony today, no matter what we tried to do to get there. There was just this realization that I wasn't going to make it. But then Tyler, Robert, and Eric all reminded me, and we discussed that how wonderful it is to be able to make this connection with you using technology. And that we can really make this connection with many people around the world and invite them into our community through technology. So with that said, would you like to know, I feel like Walter Cronkite here because there's echo in my thing, so I'm having to go like this so I can hear. But would you like to know what the word is for 2018?
Yes.
Okay. Eric has already said it once today. I've said it a couple times. So drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
This is my production assistant today. Do you want to build a snowman? And the other production assistant. Hello. Back there hiding. Thank you, Frosty. Yes, connection. This is about 3 months ago. I was praying.
So
I was praying, and this word came to me so strong. Connection. And there are many different layers to how we connect. But I know that with the incredible expansion that we've had this past year, which is not always easy, I know you were nodding your head to that. It's been challenging. But in the end, it has been divine. It has been God. And it has been majestic. Yeah. Just like when you take the storm here for what it is, it's actually quite majestic and beautiful. Well, this year, it's going to be connection, and it's to keep it a secret, but there are various layers of how we connect to the world at Unity of Dallas. And I know that you all want to make a difference in the world and find your role in advancing the unity movement as humanity to spiritually awaken. And it takes connection to do that. And it's not just connecting with technology and connecting in ways outside of ourselves, but it's turning inward to connect with spirit. It's connecting to our intuition, our feelings, to a true awareness. And we have to be able to connect deeper to be able to illuminate how beautiful and majestic the future can be and connect to what it is we are trying to shift. So I discussed this quite a bit on video during the blizzard, believe it or not, with people out there. And I've got to show you a couple minutes of that next week. But I also am going to connect with you on three words that it's going to be the sub-theme. I've never done that before, but there's going to be a sub-theme that will help us to authentically connect with others one-on-one better, and to connect with our community, with each other, and also DFW, but also the world when we show up in integrity and who we really are. So I'm very excited about it. I miss you and I love you. Thank you, Eric, for leading today, and to the rest of the team, and for all of you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah. So as we wind down after that beautiful message, does everybody have their white stone? Love for you to take that in your hand. If you don't have one, please raise your hand and you'll have one brought to you right away. Ushers, we have a few in need. And thank you. God bless our ushers and our chaplains for the service that you provide to keep all this flowing. It's easy to forget how many people that it takes to really make it happen. I invite you, those that have their stone already, to join in consciousness with the community and to write that word connection now. To begin placing that from the imagination onto that stone as a reminder. What does it mean to connect a little more this year? Would that be maybe a place where there's been some judgment for somebody from your past, that you could feel the connection to their divine presence? Maybe not inviting them to dinner or back into your life in other ways, but connecting with their divine essence. Would that mean coming here for classes more? Would that mean being involved in more outreach, or just maybe just saying hi a little more often at the grocery store, looking at people in their eyes instead of just a passing, hey, how's it going? But really, like some of you all do with me, like I can't hardly brush by any of you when you really want to connect with me. When that's your intention and your heart is in it, I can feel me, and I get pulled back into the field of your love and appreciation, and I can't do anything but just be right there in your eyes and connect in that way. It's a power. It's a power that I just imagine the way as a community we harness the power of expansion in 2017. Oh my, what we're going to do with this power of connection in 2018 is going to blow all of our minds this time next year. So please, encode that white stone with that idea of connection. I'll take you back, before we move on to a personal word that may be calling, that may have been bubbling up for you. I'll take you back to the root, and this was a slide that James used last year as a reminder of that scripture, Revelations 2:17. It says, "And to each one who is victorious, I will give a new name engraved on a white stone." Now, metaphysically, especially when we put in the rest of the scripture, which involves to those who have ears to hear, and to each one who is victorious. These are important concepts, especially with the power of imagination, because that's the thing that we've been talking about. That hidden treasure, that hidden true nature that's inside has been pushing forth. God has been moving forward as you and has been nudging you in some way to be more and to express more divine truth in your life. This victory is any moment that we recognize maybe we're living in a paradigm, maybe we realize that we're being influenced by our past, our fear, our doubt, our ideas of lack. Maybe we just recognize that and say, hey, old friend, I remember when my father said, girls' place was in the kitchen. And I took on this idea that I couldn't be this executive or whatever. Okay, I recognize you, and you hold no power over me because I am this divine truth. Whatever that thing is, this morning I was reminded actually of Don Drake. He wasn't here for me to talk about him. I saw you this year, my friend. You showed up, or not this year, I guess. Ha, ha, ha. I caught myself. Last year, I saw you arrive at this campus. And something stirred inside of you to kind of tiptoe over to Carla a little bit. Yeah? Was that a little scary?
A little bit.
A little bit. Was there some paradigms going off that said, no, I'm not that great a singer. Oh,
Yes, I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. All kinds of ideas will bubble up. But the truth, capital T, truth, is that God said, I need to sing as Dawn. That's what God said. And that's the capital T truth. You were victorious, my friend. And so you got that new name of singer. And we got to shed tears and get chicken skin run up through our body and get so much more in close contact and communion with God because of your victory. We all got to share in that. And you got that new name that only you knew because that's what was written on your heart. Each one of us has this new name pressing forward in our lives right now. There's something that's been firing in you, something that's bubbled up in your imagination that said, oh, yeah, I want to do that, or oh, I want to start that, or oh, I want to let that go. And that's God. It's our place, our duty, our right to move that forward into this life and to bring that goodness and truth of God here present so we can all share in that and feel that connection. If anything, let that be our victory, and let that voice be the thing that speaks to those doubts. Say, hey, I see you, old friend, but you got no power over me. I'm moving forward with the support of my community, with this class I took, with this meditation technique, with this yoga practice, with this whatever that I need to move forward. And I'm doing it now. That's what I had to say to myself standing at that board when and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to take the stage. It's okay, God, you know the way. I'm just going to commit. I'm going to step up and say yes, and then I'm going to listen to the signs and symbols that guide me deeper and deeper into that yes expression. That's what I invite you to now. That's what this white stone is here to remind you. That new name that is already yours, that's what it's time to inscribe on that stone. Because you might forget. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe you'll hold that firm. But just in case you might forget, just in case that doubt might rise up ever again, you can look at that new name because it's already yours. Simply to claim it. I've got mine. I've got mine. I'm going to invite you now to again uncross your legs and arms, to start aligning that body from top to bottom. Because those are those 7 churches, those 7 houses that must align and open for that Christ to emerge as you right now. As we do that, I know without a shadow of a doubt that that new name that's written for you is going to form in your mind's eye as an image, as a person's face, as an item. Something will start to bubble up just a little bit. Make a note of that. Dive into that. That's God as you in your most perfect Christ form right now. That's your new name. Closing your eyes gently. Breathe deep. From the tip of the nose down through the center of the body. Feeling your perfect alignment now. Feeling this energy and flow of power. Vibrating and tingling through the center of the forehead. Rippling through the memories of the past year. Moving through the darkness that no longer served. The lessons learned and the treasures gained. The reminders, the tiny breadcrumbs that have led you to this now moment. See now that Christ's glory forming as image within your mind. Say, yes, God. Yes, God. Allow that image to take shape. Begin now to gently blink the eyes open. Take a moment to inscribe that name upon that stone. As your reminder, as your anchor to this truth. If things still be unsure, then a victory awaits you, my friend. I invite you to that this evening. or this afternoon to face that block and to be ready to move forward with that new name, this year is yours to claim in whatever way that God has upon your heart. In the end, that's going to be all that matters. That's the name that we'll leave behind. So, you declared it earlier. What was the affirmation that we all said? That I create. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Some of you know. I know that we declared it together, that we would do this. And I believe that that's why you came here today, was to claim this truth. Are you in?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. I don't want to go all Tony Robbins on you here at the close, but come on. It's your name. It's God as you. I love you and bless you. And I know that you remember, if only for a moment. God bless you.